Most of the ancient synagogues in the Golan are built of basalt in accordance with the geological nature of the area. In archaeological surveys conducted in the Golan, over 200 settlement sites from the Mishnah and Talmudic period and over 30 synagogues in a dense settlement layout were found, indicating a well-established Jewish settlement that survived here throughout the periods. The groundwater in the Golan Heights, which originates from local rainfall, is flowing into relatively small aquifers. And the result is that most of the Golan springs have a low flow rate, which directly affect the profile of the settlements, meaning many small villages, each village with only dozens of families, and probably because of this, the synagogues in the Golan are smaller on average than in other locations. Also, with reference to the Byzantine period between the 4th and 7th centuries, various symbols such as menorahs and crosses were found in ancient villages in the Golan. The distribution of these symbols again indicates that the Jewish settlement here was a direct continuation of the Galilee region, which was densely populated with Jewish settlements. In contrast, the area north, east and south of the Jewish settlements were inhabited by Christians. The ethnic separation was clear, with enclaves on the periphery. Outside central Golan, almost no remains of synagogues were discovered, while in the center, not a single church was identified. It seems that a territorial struggle took place here between Jews and Christians during the Byzantine periods. We are close to the ancient synagogue in Deir Aziz and near Canaf spring, which was the source of water for the place throughout history. Until the Six-Day War, the village, which was built on the ruins of a Jewish settlement from the Mishnah and Talmudic periods and included a synagogue, oil press, a cemetery, and probably also a pottery production site, was under Syrian control. The findings of the excavations at Deir Aziz indicate that the Jewish settlements here existed until the earthquake of January 18th, 749, which was one of the strongest earthquakes to strike the land of Israel. Many sites along the Jordan Valley were severely damaged, including Beit Shean, Tiberias, Susita, and Jerusalem. According to a document from the Cairo Geniza, thousands of Jews were killed, mainly in Tiberias. The salient features of the synagogues in the Golan are the variation in the orientation of the doorway, the rarity of mosaics, and the relative richness of animal sculpture. Regarding the direction of the building and the direction of the prayer, in Katsarin synagogue, the entrance is on the north side. In Eneshot, the entrance is on the south. In Churbat Canaf, there is a main entrance on the west. In Deir Aziz, the main entrance is on the east. And when the entrance are on the south, as in El Kuntir and Eneshot, the entrance is shifted to the side to allow the placement of the Torah ark alongside the entrance. And you are, of course, invited to watch the video about the synagogue in Eneshot. The synagogues of Deir Aziz, Canaf, and a few other synagogues discovered in the Golan from the Talmudic period were built on an east-west axis. Since there is a direct connection between the direction of the building and the direction of the prayer, it was possible to attribute the division to two different traditions. One saw the Golan as an extension of the Galilee, where synagogues were built in southerly direction towards Jerusalem, and the other saw the Golan as part of the geographic area of east to the Jordan River, where people pray westward towards Jerusalem. This sounds like a good explanation, except for the fact that in the writings of Josephus Flavius and in Talmudic literature, the Golan was always considered part of the Galilee. It could also be said that worshippers of synagogues from both groups during the Talmudic period sought to direct the prayers to a single focal point. The uniqueness of the synagogue in Deir Aziz is by the fact that it supports both traditions. Originally, the building was built on the east-west axis, while the direction of prayer facing west. But later, the direction of prayer was changed to the south. How was the change made? In one section of the southern wall, the seating is changed. A semicircle floor was built for the place of the Holy Ark, and the result is that the direction of the prayer was changed from west to south. The synagogue here is a rectangular hall 11 by 18 meters and is unique in that after the change, the wide dimension of the building faces south towards Jerusalem. The northern wall, which was excavated and curved into a slope, is preserved, and in its upper part, prominent lugs are visible that supported the wooden beams of the ceiling or galleries. There are 2 rows of columns, 4 columns in each row, standing on pedestals, decorated with a rounded protrusion. 3 steps of benches surrounds most of the hall. The floor of the hall is paved with stone slabs. In front of the eastern gate, stones from the earthquake landslide can be seen. The stone flooring of the hall does not reach the wall or the benches, but ends a few centimeters before. This indicates that the niche for the ark and the benches are not original and were only added in the second phase of the synagogue. In the northeast corner, outside the entrance, you can see the stairs to the second floor, perhaps a woman's section, although there is no evidence of this, and there was probably no separation between males and females. Under the floor of the hall, archaeologists found hundreds of coins, the latest of which dates from the time of Emperor Justinian. According to this finding, it can be assumed that the first phase of the synagogue was built in the 6th century. It is important for me to clarify that according to the surveys and excavations, it was found that the beginning of the settlement in the place was in the early Roman period, but the finds from these periods are very few. The settlement flourished in the late Roman and Byzantine periods, and I've already expanded on this. 2 staircases were built on the benches on the west side, just opposite the 2 entrances. Near the central entrance is a broken lintel curved with a wreath, Hercules knot and a flower. The side doorway remained intact, including the lintel. There is an opinion that at a later stage the place became a monastery, based on the name of the site, Deir Aziz. Deir in Arabic means monastery. Now, what is the origin of the name Deir Aziz? So we are near the western door, and 3 fragments of decorated lintel were discovered, bearing an inscription in Greek, which mentions, among other things, the name Azizus, as actually is written here. Apparently, The name Aziz is related to the original name of this Talmudic settlement. Further excavations uncover additional fragments of a Greek inscription that are related to the first inscription and can be seen as a single inscription that wished blessing to the donors. I will take this opportunity to address the subject. Most of the inscriptions in synagogues deal with donations and the commemorization of donors, thus emphasizing the synagogue's place as a central institution in the life of the Jewish community, in the city and in the village. Naturally, in the mountainous Galilee and in the Golan, in buildings paved with stone tiles, the inscriptions are found engraved on stone items, while in buildings paved with mosaics, both in the Galilee and in the valleys, most of the inscriptions are using mosaics. As for the language of the inscriptions, in rural area, most of the inscriptions are in Hebrew and Aramaic. It is important to mention that the site was discovered by Lawrence Oliphant, and that was in 1885. At the time, the lintel of the eastern entrance was still in place. We will walk down to Canaf spring, which was the source of water for the ancient village. Today, the spring serves as the source of drinking water for the nearby Canaf settlement. The people of the settlement recently built 3 different pools at different heights that are fed by the surplus water from the spring. And finally, as usual, I have a question for you. 3 kilometers from here, there are 2 ancient synagogues from the Mishnah and Talmud periods. What are their names?